Hello and welcome to another episode of the Get Out of Gaming podcast, uh, weekly podcast that posts on your local podcast services around the globe every single Wednesday with a video version every Friday on YouTube. Uh, my name is Ben, and with me is Alex. Alex, how's it going?
Hello, hello. I hate my hair right now. That's how it's going right now. It's all wavy. I feel like Arthur. Like 20, 30-year-old Arthur right now.
I remember when I used to have like a really good hair. My forehead just keeps getting bigger. Um, we're gonna do something different today. It's been like a slow week news wise. We know that they show the new PlayStation VR, but we want to kind of break up what we normally do. And today we're going to talk about our top six anime of all time. This is our list, just what we think. There was no stipulation; it just had to be an anime. Um, yeah, Alex, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you go first.
Okay. So again, we each brought 6 to the table, so there's gonna be 12 total. And these are also could be a movie, these could be a series, these could be both. Um, oh man, and you made me go first. Okay.
I did. I did.
Man, it's behind the green screen, but not really. Kind of. The Blu-ray is okay. I'm gonna start off with a no-brainer here. If you're an audio listener, you're missing out. You should go to youtube.com, search up Get At Gaming Podcast, and you can see all my props because I brought all the props today because I own most of these. Some of these are from another person in my house, but yeah. Anyway, um, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yeah. So I have the series on DVD. I have the Blu-ray behind the green screen. I have the movie sealed. And then I have the other movie that basically talks about. It's like a recap movie, and it also has like the first 30 minutes of the last movie. But yeah, this is an ADV Films box set, so it has all the original music and stuff, which the new releases, since it recently came out on Blu-ray, does not have the original music because of licensing issues and things like that. But Evangelion. Well, first of all, I need to ask this, which I doubt it. But first of all, was this on your list? It wasn't, but is this on your list?
No,
Okay.
I will tell you, it is one that I've personally wanted to watch. Um, I've just never gotten around to it and said, "Hey, I'm gonna sit there and watch it." Obviously, it has to be when there are no children around. That is definitely one that I wouldn't want to watch with kids. And like for me, it's hard watching anime now because my life is so busy. But that one did not make my list because I've never actually watched it.
Okay. So I will say, if you're watching a sub or if you don't speak Japanese, I guess, or whatever, there can be certain times where near the end, especially, where there's a lot of flashing lights. So it's very hard to read subtitles. So if you have like epilepsy or anything like that, you might kind of, I don't know, tough it out. I don't know, like
Tough it out.
turn it to dub for a bit. Turn it back to sub. Yeah, I watched it all subbed. And this is the original show. There are also 4 movies that came out as well. But Evangelion, in a nutshell, is a anime that is the deconstruction of robot mech anime. So the mechs aren't really their plot devices. They aren't really the main focus of the show, even though they are. A lot of it has to deal with psychological horror, just a lot of symbolism, whether that's religious symbolism and stuff like that. Just very interesting things. And everyone is depressed. The anime, that's what it is. But it's very, very good. I highly recommend it. It is on Netflix. There is a new dub for it and stuff, but again, it does not have the original music, specifically the ending song, and it's in certain parts of the show as well. The ending song is "Fly Me to the Moon," Saint Frank Sinatra, but they sing it instead. So it's all in English, but it's a Japanese like woman singing it, or it's an orchestral version of "Fly Me to the Moon," and it's very very good. But without the music, like you can watch the show without the music just fine, but there are certain awkward scenes where like it just there's no music at all because like there's supposed to be an orchestral version of the song playing. Um, but at the end of the day, it's a very good anime. It's excellent. Definitely one of my favorites. That's why it's on this list here. But it is a package deal. I would say the anime is good, but the end of Evangelion movie that bookends it for that series is amazing. Like you really are watching a prerequisite series to get to the movie. Like that's how you should see it. And it's 26 or so episodes long, and yeah, it's just awesome. Like I said, there are 3 movies or other 4 movies, but I would recommend not watching those before watching this because maybe a different timeline. So like there's just that kind of stuff like that where like it's kind of like they call them the rebuilds because it's like stuff happened at the end which then might have caused things to reset. So yeah, that's how that is. But yeah, it's a great show. I highly recommend it. I watched it subbed. I did not watch it dubbed. um, Even though it's one of the anime from back when, early 90s, where like most people were watching dubbed anime of that. I don't have any nostalgia for the dub, and I tried watching a tiny bit of it, and it personally to me it wasn't great, so I did not watch it like that. But yeah, that's Ava. That's Ava.
Well, my first one, which I'm kind of shocked because I discovered anime early 90s is what I did. I used to go to the mall where I lived, and they had a Suncoast, and they sold anime there.
That's where I
And
discovered it.
$30 on, I wouldn't even know what it would be, but I would spend it. Uh, but this is a strange list because most of them are pretty new. I'll start off with my number one, and these are not in particular order.
Yeah,
So, not like my best or my least. These are all ones that I could watch over and over. And Demon Slayer.
that
So
was almost
it,
on my list.
yeah. So I never really got into it, and my son is like, "You got to watch it. You got to watch it all the way through." As I watched it, I thought the story was really, really good. Um, you know, main character family is killed. Entire family is killed by a demon. His sister uh, has become a demon, and he is wanting to do whatever he can to save her. Decides to go and be a demon slayer. Does all the training. Uh, which I think what's really cool is later on, as the season progresses, you meet like the top demon slayers,
Yeah,
and he talks smack to several of them. And with his hands tied, still fought one of the top ones. Um,
headbutt.
but I love how when he does his water formation, like the colors change in the anime completely.
Yeah.
Uh, I actually own the game for PS5,
Mm.
and the game is the prettiest game I think I've ever seen. Um, it's. I think it's the first time I watched an anime where I wanted to finish it that same day. You
Yeah.
know, I got season one done. I know season two's out. I know that there's that movie that came out.
Yep.
And I've not watched the movie and I've not watched season two. I kind of want to wait until all of season two's out. And I'll watch.
All season 2 actually just ended.
It did? Okay.
Yeah, so if you're watching it subbed, it should all be on Hulu and all that. But you have to watch the movie first because the movie is required reading, required watching. They did recut it as episodes. It just feels kind of weird. They call it the Mugen Train arc, but yeah, if that's your only way to watch it, still definitely watch it because you need to watch that
Yeah.
before season 2.
I heard it's coming to HBO Max because HBO's really been bringing a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watch Jujutsu Kaijin, I think it's
Kaizen, yeah.
Kaisen, and I really enjoy that show, but I've never finished it. Um, that's really dark. It got really dark real quick. Uh, but yeah, I love the show. I think out of some of the newer anime that have come out, the story is what gets you every time. And now I'm a big
Yeah,
action guy. I love the action ones. Um, but there's also just enough comedy in there to keep it rolling when there is. And that's what I love.
yeah,
Like, I think he's got quite the group of friends he goes with now, and they all have their unique powers. And I love how they all want the same thing, but they look to the main character
hmm
as inspiration to get stronger themselves.
yeah. At least for season one, and maybe yeah, I would say season one. Tanjiro, the main character, is excellent. He's a very good character. Inosuke's Inosuke, he's hilarious. Just
Yep.
with his stupid pig mask and his two like cut up swords. Um, he reminds me a lot of with the swords at least. He reminds me. Did you ever actually? I might be going to your list. I doubt it because you said mostly new. Did you ever watch Bleach?
Yes.
Okay, so there's that guy Kenpachi who's like really really strong, and he has the Zanpakuto that's just like very damaged. Like that's what um Inosuke's katana, or like I don't know what they are. I guess it might be katana, but his swords, like they remind me of those since they're very like damaged, but he just uses them to saw into things instead. He's hilarious, and then I really do like Zenitsu a lot. He's hilarious too. His comedy, just pining over Nezuko, and just wanting to become a demon slayer so he can pick up women is
And
hilarious.
I feel like he out of all three of them, he is the strongest one
Yeah,
out of all. Like
but
when he
he just has to be asleep.
yeah, has to be asleep or pass out. Um, but it's funny because you see their stories and they all mesh together. But you know, and I think the best part was seeing how this guild of demon slayers were pissed because he carries his sister with him and she's a demon,
Yeah.
but proving that she will not attack people. She's different.
hmm
I think some of the better fight scenes is when she comes out of the box and they're fighting together.
hmm
I think that's some of the best fight scenes in any anime. Like the fact that they work together. Um,
Yeah.
I
Um,
I think it's just a very enjoyable show that you can go and you can watch it, and you really kind of get into the characters and you feel the pain of like what's been happening, and it just kind of manifests to a really good show.
yeah, definitely. It's an excellent show. It's one of the most popular ones right now, which obviously you can see why. But it reminds me a lot of this generation's Full Metal Alchemist, where it has a
Yeah,
lot of the same tropes of like um two kids cursed, family lost, um with Alphonse and Edward, I guess. With Alphonse, he doesn't have a body, which is like he's basically a homunculus in that show. Whereas with Nezuko, she is a demon. So like there's a lot of parallels there between the two. So I can definitely see why this type of show got picked up again and is doing so well. It's the most popular show right now. Like besides like One Piece, I guess. One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, like yeah, this is like the most popular show. There's so much stuff for it right now, so much merch and everything.
we were talking before. Alex asked if Full Metal was on here, and it's not. And it was a hard decision. But what I've been seeing right now on YouTube, especially, all these younger people that have like picked up anime are now watching Full Metal Alchemist, and then like they're watching the first part,
Yeah,
great, and then they get into Brotherhood, and they're like, God, it's so dark, it's so sad.
I love it.
And it's like, did you pay attention to the first season? The whole first season's about how sad
Yeah,
their lives are. and they're like celebrities, but they are literally like not only battling what's they're trying to get the younger brother get him back a body, but not only that, they're still battling what happened and what they did. So uh, especially you have to deal with the homunculi in that one, uh, which the one that I have a hard time watching is Glutton. He's awful. Just I loved it when he got his ass kicked and he died. I
Yeah.
mean, not as bad as the one that Mustang killed because that was horrible.
Oh, just set on fire. Yeah.
They just
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah. That show is excellent as well. Honestly, both of them. Um, but I feel that Full Metal isn't on as many people's radar anymore, especially because like that was a show back when where people were watching a lot of dubbed anime,
yep.
and we don't talk about Vic Mignogna anymore since he's a creepy creep. Even though I have a picture of him with me at like a Comic-Con type thing that's local here at the university, and then also he signed my Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I'm like, oh no, should I buy new Full Metal Alchemist? I don't know what to do. Yeah, they're worthless now. They're even worth less than they were before. Um, but yeah. So yeah, we don't talk about Vic Mignogna here. No Vic Mignogna here.
No.
Yeah, he's a creepy man and doesn't deserve to be at any cons. Anyway, um, yeah. So what did you talk about? Yeah, you talked about Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about Demon Slayer. Um,
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. The only thing I want to say again, for a lot of these things, I want to each thing that we talk about. You can watch Evangelion on Netflix, and you can also pick up the Blu-rays. The DVDs that have Fly Between the Moon and all the other stuff are expensive and out of print since they're ADV films. They don't exist anymore. For Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer, that is everywhere. Season 1 is on Netflix. Pretty much all of it's on Hulu. um, Funimation is your best place to find it, because it has the movie on their streaming app as well. And you can it's also currently like being produced, so like you can buy Blu-rays of it, because I have the first season on Blu-ray, like it's 2 volumes. But yeah, cool. um, let's see here. I'm saving this for last. Let me throw that big box and not break it. Um,
I like how Alex has like visual. He's like, yeah, I own all these. I own none of these. I have watched almost all of these on streaming, like every single one of these streaming.
I have watched almost all of these on streaming, to be honest. Except like eventually, if I like a show a lot, I'll buy it. So for my next one, we're going to talk about one of the shows that I talk about a lot. I'm missing some of the movies because I let Spencer borrow them and I never got them back because I forgot. So
Spencer.
yeah, come on, Spencer. You're probably not listening, but Spencer or Danimaster, go bug Spencer. Go get my Blu-rays back for me, please. But anyway, we're talking about audio listeners. I'm showing off Case Closed on DVD. Detective Conan. I'm more of a fan of the movies, to be honest, because they're more self-contained and they're just very well put together. But the show is very, very good as well. The first 130 or so episodes. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, the first 130 or so episodes were released on DVD and localized here. The rest were not. So like it's dubbed up to 130 episodes as well, and up to movie 6 were dubbed and subbed and released by Funimation. Eventually it aired on Adult Swim, I guess. I don't really remember that when it was airing there, but yeah, apparently it did, and it did poorly because Detective Conan is a kid show really in Japan, but because it has a lot of gruesome like murders and other stuff like that, they would have to censor it for the normal school children around here. So instead
Right.
it was on Adult Swim, and it did poorly on there because adults don't want to watch, or the stereotypical adults don't want to watch like a kids show at night. Now they probably do, but back then they didn't. But so yeah, Detective Conan is an anime where a teen like ace detective, prodigy. He's really good at like soccer. He's really good at just like deductive skills and all these things. He helps out the police and all of that. One day he goes to a amusement park and he solves a case there, and he witnesses some shady people doing shady things. Um, I think they just call them the Men in Black is who they are. Um, and they knock him out because they notice like what they're doing, and they say something like, "Try that new I don't know, suicide, or like I don't know, this new killer drug that's supposed to just like make them die." And they pour like water and like the drug inside him, and he ingests it. And what the drug does, because I guess no one tests these things, is causes him to get really sick and like basically ache all over, and he wakes up in a child's body. So he has is now like an elementary school kid, instead of like a 17-year-old. So he lost a lot of age there. He can't fit into his clothes, but he still has his brain. So basically, he has to team up with his neighbor as well as his childhood friend slash crush. Um, Her dad is a detective, a really horrible detective, but he keeps getting cases, and so Shinichi Jimmy Kudo, I guess in the old dub, he names himself Conan Edogawa after Sir Arthur Conan Doyle because he's a nerd. So like he's really into Sherlock, and then Edogawa, which is another person who like did sort of like mystery novels and stuff. Um, so like yeah, that's just the name that he comes up with on the fly. He grabs his dad's old glasses, like pushes out the lenses, and he just like has a different look. Um, so yeah, he just lives with his childhood friend slash love interest and dad and her dad, and just solves wacky cases. And they can be wacky, they can be very depressing, they can be very violent, um, all while giving Mori Kogo, um, giving him all the credit. So he's become full of himself, and he thinks he's the most awesome detective ever, but it's really not him. It's all Conan, and he uses like all these gadgets and stuff that he gets from the inventor neighbor. He knocks him out. He knocks out Mori, and so they call him the Sleeping Sleuth. So anytime like he like gets knocked out and he just like sits down and like has his face down, and they don't have to like animate the mouth, he starts talking because Conan has like a voice changer thing, and then he just starts telling like, oh, this person did it, and then he wakes up like, oh, I solved the crime. So that's just how that show goes, and it's very, like I said, it's very episodic. There are over 1,000 episodes of this show now.
Yeah.
But like you really don't have to watch them all. There's a certain point to where you should watch them, maybe, just to understand some of the characters. After that, I would highly recommend just watching the movies, because the movies are, like I said, are very good self-contained movies, and they do a very good job of, as long as you know the characters, you're gonna have a fun time. And yeah, like I said, there are 6 movies that were out because of Funimation. Those are our print. Most of the anime, the beginning part, I want to say is on Crunchyroll, and then episodes like 800 through whatever are on Crunchyroll as well. And Discotek has recently been releasing the newer movies, but backwards. So they started like like the newer movies, newest movies, and then just started releasing like the one before, and then one before that, one before that. So I want to say there are like 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6 other movies at this point that recently came out. So yeah, there's a lot to watch of the show. I just like it a lot because I like mysteries. I like cop type shows, I guess. I don't know, buddy cop type stuff, and this is what this kind of is sometimes. But it's also just a fun, interesting show because every episode is about a different case, and maybe you'll figure it out before them. Maybe you will. I don't know. It's always really good, interesting stuff too.
I think it's hilarious. The first time I've heard about it was I worked at Suncoast in the mall, and we used to get promotional stuff all the time, you know. And we got a promotional thing, and being one of the managers, um, I was like, "Well, I'm going to take it because I'm the one that's here." Open it up, it's case closed, and it's like the first 3 DVDs,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody wanted it anyway, so I had it. I was like, "This is not bad. It really is not bad." Where those are today, who knows? I really don't know. I probably sold them at a garage sale for stupid money, and I shouldn't have.
I mean, to be fair, they're not really worth a whole lot. The things that you might want to look out for are the complete season. There's like a Viridian version, and then there's the save version from Funimation. Um, but yeah, those are the ones that are expensive. I bought these um, maybe 2 years ago from eBay, and it was like $50 for all of these together, like all the seasons that ever came out in pristine condition. Some of them were new, like I had to unwrap them too, and yeah, like, and these are going for a lot of money. They're one of the Conan movies, especially. I think it's like the second one goes for like a lot. Like sometimes, like it's like $100 sometimes because they're just all out print and popular.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny because if anything, I would say that comes out that's worth more money later on, it's anime. Every time there's a new release,
Mm-hmm.
um, so when it came from VHS to DVD, some of those DVDs are worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Um, then with that to Blu-ray, some of them are 4K. But yeah, I I remember watching that, and I had the first 3 DVDs. So was it like 4 episodes on a DVD or something like
Probably.
that? And they had the little hole punch at the top to show that they were for a promotional item. Uh, you know, I mean, we would get stuff all the time, and like we don't control like if what we that kind of stuff. We were a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time we got like ginger snaps from Canada, which is like a horror movie from there. Um, and both the girls that were in it, well, one of them especially is like moved on to like bigger, better things. But when we got it, they're like, "We really want you to push this movie," and I'm like, "I have no say whatsoever uh, on whether we push it or not." And then one time they sent us like a giant box of them, and it was never, Now I wish I had one of those in box because those are worth some money
Yeah.
because they never really produced it here in the states. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. Um, this one's gonna throw you for a loop, and it's newer. It was a Netflix. They say original on Netflix, but I know it wasn't. It's called. I'm hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Yasuke. It's about the African American samurai.
I've never seen it. I don't know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
Huge cast of like really big people. Uh, so it's loosely based on the real story of an African American samurai that came out to be one of the best samurais of that time period. There's only like 6 or 7 episodes, maybe. Um, it shows him how he's first off, how um, this lord at the time bought him. It was kind of funny because there's a scene where they're trying to wash him and it doesn't come off. He's like, it's not
Mhm.
coming off. But they decide to teach him the way of the samurai. All the other samurais are pissed because he's a foreigner. He's not part of their clan. Um, where this anime goes different is because the people that are fighting are supernatural. They're taking over the land. Um, so, but it's cool because it's like a legit samurai anime. The drawing and the animation is spot on. I'm trying to see who was in it. There was like a really big cast of the guy that played him, Yasuke, um, was a Lakeith Stanfield, big actor, been in a ton of different stuff. I actually just watched him not too long ago in Sorry Not to Bother You.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the main character of that great movie. But I liked it because the story was great and he was actually traveling, uh, and he was going to help out to avenge his lord being murdered. And so don't let it fool you because it's on Netflix. But the animation style is great. It's cool to see like all these like old school samurai when they're training, and Yasuke is quicker, faster, and he learns much quicker.
Mhm.
So he's taking down these masters in training, and they're so pissed, but he's so humble. And when his lord dies and everything happens, he decides to just be a boatman, like nobody. And what's been happening everywhere decides to come here, and he decides to come out of what he's doing because someone tried to attack him, uh, and he fights back, and he's fighting things that are supernatural. Uh, Great story, great. And I do say loosely based. I'm pretty sure there was no African American samurai that was fighting demons and stuff like that, but
Mhm.
it's cool because watching these old school samurais being pissed at him because he is black, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, so, and I know people are gonna be like, what about Afro Samurai? Uh, didn't care for it. I didn't think it was good at all. And people get,
Yeah, I know people rave about it, and like I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough of it to really have an opinion as well. But what I've watched, I'm just like, yeah, that's iconic, I guess. Hey, it's Samuel L. Jackson. I
I felt like they tried to go with the hip hop version of a Samurai Champloo
Mhm.
with an African American lead person,
Mhm.
but I just didn't think the story went well with anything. This one, story's great. And it's short too. Like it's only 6 episodes for season one.
Huh.
Uh, so, uh, like I said, there's going to be some ones on here that you may not have heard of. I think that's the only one you probably never heard of, but it's on Netflix now.
Yeah.
It's super fast watch. So
Yeah, I'm looking here. It's Studio Mappa. It's interesting because it was like it was created by Americans and written by Americans, but then they had Japanese Studio Mappa do the animation. Um, so this is one of the ones where like, what should you watch? Should you watch the sub? Is the Japanese actually a dub, or like is the sub? Because like I'm looking here and like one of the characters who voices Nobunaga, I guess, is one of the main characters. They are the same voice in both Japanese and English.
yeah,
So yeah, this is one of the ones where probably be safe on like I don't know, depending on how you want to watch stuff. If you want to watch it in the original format, I would say probably watch it in English, and then the dub is technically Japanese.
uh,
um,
the
but
actor that plays Yasuke, uh, I wonder. if he learned Japanese to do it, because looking at him being like such a method actor,
Hmm.
that looks like something he would do.
Yeah.
Uh, and he's very like, if you ever seen him in like interviews, he's very calm, very collective with what he says. Um, but I think the best thing is watching him fight people. The that animation's so smooth, and by the end of it, all these people that were like, "Oh, we don't like him," blah blah blah, watching him fight are like, "Man, he is legit," and they start following him, including these assassins that tried to kill him.
Hmm.
And he took like 3 on at once. Uh, yeah, he totally took him down like it was nothing. Uh, I just think it's a great um, samurai story there. On a side note, we posted this on Facebook, and we were talking about what we were talking about today. And our buddy Zach, I said, this week's episode, we're talking about our favorite anime of all time. What are your favorites? Our buddy Zach put SpongeBob SquarePants. So I guess that's his pick.
I think he's getting banned from the Facebook page. Oh
Oh,
man, I don't really see this other person I'm about to talk to often anymore. There's a guy who just he's a nice guy, but he likes to argue about certain things. And we had to have a debate of why The Simpsons is not anime. And it was the most annoying thing ever. Because he legitimately was like, no, it's animation. This anime means animation, this and this. And Simpsons is anime. Like he genuinely was like, no, this is it. No, it's not. It's not anime.
no,
Definition of anime is something completely different.
that's like
Um,
Family Guy is anime.
yeah, exactly. And like, yes, anime it means animation or whatever in Japan, and that's maybe like what they say, but like anime is things that are made in Japan, or have like honestly, yeah, that's pretty much what it is, or has that sort of style. People like to say that Avatar is anime, Avatar Last Airbender. I personally don't see it. Like, yes, it was inspired by Fooly Cooley and maybe like Akira and things like that, but it's not anime. It's a Western cartoon that's trying to look like a Japanese cartoon.
And I will say this, that um, over the years, when you would talk about anime, people would have two different subjects: anime and animation,
Mhm.
which are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And and when you talk about anime, that is what they're talking about. They're talking about Japanese anime. They're talking about that. If you really think about it, Transformers is the cartoon was technically anime.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was made in
Uh,
Japan.
yeah, but Simpsons is all thought up, all drawn here in the United States. That's not anime. That's animation.
Same thing about SpongeBob SquarePants, Zach. I'm sorry, but
All right,
you're not allowed here anymore. Um, yeah.
I'm still waiting until we get Zach on board to do our newest episode when we do our draft. Uh, I think I got him this time.
All right.
I think
Well.
we've all beat him a couple times. Sorry, Zach.
Well,
All
this is
right.
the end of the episode where we be mean to Zach. But no. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay. I still have three more things to talk about. So like
I
when
bet.
we were starting at the beginning, I was like, man, this isn't gonna take that long. We zoomed through the first two, whatever it seemed, and then we started talking like
Yeah, we're
really.
almost 40 minutes
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm gonna save the two weird ones for the end. I'm going to do the safe one first. So I am doing. I'm gonna show you all audio listeners. I'm showing off anime. Um, so I guess first of all, this anime is another like type of Evangelion. It's a deconstruction of a certain genre. This is the deconstruction of magical girl anime. So like Sailor Moon and stuff like that. Pretty Cure, all that. This is Puella Magi Madoka Magica, which people have probably heard of. because it's very, very popular. It is an anime that is very dark, depressing. Doesn't look like it initially, but yeah. Basically, it's a story of these girls who become magical girls, and because of that, there are repercussions to their actions. Like, yes, they got a wish when they got to become a magical girl, like a impossible wish. But because of becoming a magical girl, they have to fight these things called witches in order to survive. There is a certain character who is trying to stop the main character Madoka from becoming a magical girl, because she's just like, no, you shouldn't. There's no real explanation until later of like why she shouldn't do this, and it seems like that's just like her goal is to stop Madoka from becoming a magical girl. Yeah, it's very pretty. It's made by Studio Shaft, so the backgrounds are amazing. The animation is amazing, very fluid, and it has very good music as well. The anime is 13 episodes long. You can probably find it most places, although it seems like it's disappearing a lot of places. But there is also something else besides the anime. There is the movie, Madoka Magica, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, the movie, Rebellion, and yeah, this is the meat. Like again, it's like with Evangelion, where like you're watching Evangelion and it's a very good show, but then the really good part is the movie End of Evangelion. And yeah, that's what this is here. So Monica Magica Rebellion is excellent. It's a required watching. I would recommend, especially because there's going to be a new movie that got announced here last year. Yeah, I don't really want to say too much without giving spoilers, because like if I say too much, it would give spoilers away. But it's a fairly short anime. Again, 13 episodes. Do not watch it around kids, because it's very graphic in death sometimes and stuff like that. But for the first couple episodes, like you can see that there's something wrong. But this is one of the shows where that defined the quote unquote 3 episode rule, where it's like give something 3 episodes, and if you don't like it by then, you can drop it, because it's possible it could do something for you. And with this show, it really does change tones after the end of the 3rd episode. The ending song changes, the whole tone of the show kind of changes. It becomes more dark and depressing. I like depressing anime apparently, but yeah, it's very good. It's excellent. It doesn't seem like something that like I don't know. It like you look at like Magic Girl stuff and you're like, oh, you're watching that? No, man, it's actually it's good. Yeah, I mean Sailor Moon's good too, but like, yeah, watch what you want to watch. But yeah, I highly recommend it for everyone who is old enough.
That is old enough.
Yeah, so I mean, like your kids could probably, or your oldest kid, could probably watch it and be fine with it. It's not like there's any like nudity really or anything like that. It's just depressing psychological type of stuff, but it is very good.
I mean, look at my 13-year-old. Like, he has been reading the Five Nights at Freddy's books,
Mm,
and so depressing, dark,
yeah.
name it. My oldest one, obviously, Attack on Titan is his thing. I mean, he loves Attack on Titan. He watches it every week on Hulu, subbed, but like, so and that show's depressing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, between that and Dragon Ball, that's like his go-to that he watches are those. But for me, I'm gonna throw a good one out here. Alex guessed it before. We were kind of talking. It's Cowboy Bebop. I do not think. Here's my thing. I actually watched the first 2 episodes of the Cowboy Bebop live action, and I thought to myself, "Yeah, this is awful." Um, I did not feel like the cartoon show.
Yeah.
I actually get this the second episode of the live action. I was actually doing the dishes as I did it, and I was even running the disposal. I don't even know what was going on. Uh, you know, as where when I was playing Super Robot Wars, I sent a video to Alex because one of the characters that showed up was Spike. Um, and they played legitimately the music from the show.
Yeah.
Uh, I I'm not a big live action anime guy. Like if it was animated before, it doesn't need to be live action. It's very difficult to do. But this show I never even knew existed until Adult Swim. And
Yeah. I feel like that was
I,
everyone.
yeah, and I think this show is great. The characters are awesome. Um, Spike literally fights like Bruce Lee, and I think that's the best thing. Like his mannerisms. I love when he's like circling somebody. He does the whole thing across his nose like Bruce Lee did.
Yep.
Fighting stance, everything. And you look at him, and you think, God, this guy's just lazy. He's not anything good, and he's like one of the top bounty hunters out there. And the few times I've actually got to see Jet fight, those are quite unique. Jet's fighting style is complete brute strength. Then of course you have Faye that just tries to talk her way out of everything, and then Edward that's insane.
Yeah.
Uh, I just think it's a really good um, anime. It's got a good story, but then as you get into the story, you start seeing Spike's past and what happened to him. Um, and I think that kind of makes it a little more human.
Hmm.
Of he does everything for money, but he will do things to help people out. Like he's generally a good person.
Yeah.
He's not good with money whatsoever. I think the anime tried to grasp that, it just wasn't there. I feel bad because I don't blame the actors. I just blame that it should just never been done in the first place.
Yeah, that's how it is for a lot of those. There are some things that could probably be fine as like as a live action thing, but for the most part, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. This right now, I know you can watch on several streaming things
Yeah.
right now.
It
I
recently
think it's
got added to Netflix as well.
yeah.
So,
That is I've watched it already, the whole entire series.
is the movie
They
on there too?
no, the movie's great. I love the
The movie's
movie.
expensive. I went to our local little disc store and they're selling the Blu-ray for $100. I guess it's out of print.
Yeah, yeah. I think the best thing of that movie is the first couple minutes where they're in the convenience store and the convenience store is getting robbed, and Spike takes out two of them, and one of them tries to run away. First off, that guy's gonna talk with a speech. The guy that Jet took down, that guy's done. He's not. It's like playing Batman when you see like Batman finish somebody, and then you turn on the Bat Vision. You're like, oh, he's unconscious. No, he's in a coma. He's he's brain dead. He's not
Yeah.
dead. He's brain dead. Uh, that movie was so good, and I love to finally see somebody that was Spike's equal.
Hmm.
Watching the last fight scene literally was like the coolest thing. Like finally, Spike found somebody that hand to hand combat was he was just not. You know,
Hmm.
it didn't look like he was having fun. Let's just say that, like normally he does. Uh, the jokes are good in this. I feel like it's just a well put together anime.
Cool. Yeah, like I said before with this show, I don't know if I've actually watched it all fully. I watched bits and pieces a lot, like when I was younger on an Adult Swim. And then I want to say in 2016, I really sat down and tried to watch it. And I watched most of it subtitled. And I remember enjoying it, and I remember appreciating it and stuff, but I guess I should have watched it when I was younger. I don't know. Like it just kind of seems like this is really good and I really do like this, but I'm not overly obsessed about it because it wasn't our only thing that we had like back then. um yeah, and like it does deserve all the praise. From what I've seen, it does deserve all that praise. I just don't have those touchstones to it, so that's why I don't know. That's why I don't watch it, I guess. I don't know. I've been thinking about rewatching it and actually giving it another shot and finishing it, watching the, like I've seen some of the movie, I've seen some of everything of it. I probably watched the whole show technically, but like yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really for me, but at the same time I did enjoy it. So that says something about the quality of the show.
Right.
Um Speaking of things, and stuff, I have a 4K Blu-ray movie of an anime. Is not Akira. Akira is not on this list. For me at least.
It's not on my list. I was kind of shocked, but I really wanted to go with ones that I can watch over and over and over again.
Yeah, I watched Akira for the first. I guess tangent. I watched Akira for the first time. I want to say 2 to 3 years ago, and actually probably longer than that, 3 or 4 years ago, and it was very well animated, but we all kind of got out of it. We're like, we don't really like this movie. It's really random. Like the plot makes no sense at all. It's a very cool like set piece, and like your eyes are having fun watching all that cool animation and all the visuals, but the movie makes no sense at all. I hear the manga is a lot better because like it helps develop more of the things about it. And so if you've read the manga and then watched the movie, you might understand and appreciate it more. Akira, no. I again, it's one of those things like, yeah, it looks amazing. I can see how much they worked on it, but it's a no from me, dog. But anyway, this is my favorite movie. My favorite anime movie. I don't know if I have an actual favorite movie. I've talked about it before. Maybe favorite movie is probably Rush Hour 2 still. But this is Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro. This is the 4K HD version by Discotech with HDR. He's wearing the green jacket. You can tell because on for audio listeners on the video, the green screen is taking effect, so you can see through him. So yeah, this is an amazing movie. It isn't really hyped anymore, which is unfortunate, but good at the same time. So when you do show someone this movie and they've never seen it before, they'll really like it. This is a different Lupin than we normally see. He is very heroic, I guess. And the normal Lupin, man, there's a quote. I don't want to say the quote, but there's basically a quote from the original creator of Lupin. He's like, yeah, never mind. I don't want to ruin it. Basically, he said like he's a very womanizer and deviant, I would say, in the regular Lupin. But in this one, he's more of a vigilante hero. And this movie, Castle of Cagliostro, along with the first anime series, Hayao Miyazaki helped with it. And this is Miyazaki's first film that he ever directed. So it is in like the Miyazaki film thing that you can get on Blu-ray, I believe. But it's not in like the Studio Ghibli or Studio Ghibli ones, because it's not a Studio Ghibli film. So this takes place before that. But this movie has a lot of scenes and set pieces that have inspired other people to make other movies. Great Mouse Detective, very well-known Disney movie. There's a scene in there where they're fighting like inside a clock, I believe. And that is in this movie. They took it from this movie and like kind of did their own spin on it. I've listened to, I mean, we talked about Simpsons earlier. I've listened to commentary about The Simpsons because that that was the thing I used to do as a kid. Listen to Simpsons commentary of the Simpsons episodes that I watched on DVD. And for the movie in particular, there's a part where Bart is like rolling off of the roof, and it's supposed to be an homage to Castle Cagliostro when Lupin is rolling and like has to like run down the roof to like keep himself from falling down. Um, there's just like so many things that have taken homage of and really do respect this movie. You can find this movie on Netflix. Um, you can find it on Amazon if you pay for it. But the discotheque version is my favorite version, especially this one because it is in 4K and it looks amazing. But this one, along with the Blu-ray from discotheque, has all the dubs because there's like 3 or 4 dubs for it. It also has the sub versions along with different types of stereo. So like whether it's surround sound, 5.1, 6.1, all that. And one of the dubs that came out, I forget, Manga Entertainment one. It has David Hayter, the voice of Metal Gear Solid Snake. He voices Lupin in that dub, and it's very good. That was the first dub I ever listened to of it, and Lupin dub is generally really good, regardless of who it is. There are some exceptions with certain Funimation ones where they say Lupin wrong. They say Lupin, even though it's Lupin. But yeah, so I would recommend that dub if you're a dub person. So you probably have to buy that on Amazon. But if you're a sub person, you can go ahead and watch it on Netflix, and it's excellent. It's essentially a Disney movie. It's a very good adventure movie. It can be for kids. There is a clean dub as well in the version with David Hayter. So like they do take out some of the swear words, or like I think they take out like the word like hell and stuff like that too. So like if you do want something that's a little more cleaner for young kids, because it can be a kids movie for sure. They might get a little bored with some of it, but it is really a kids movie. You can play it that way instead. But yeah, it's an excellent movie. Probably is my favorite. It's definitely my favorite anime movie, like standalone movie of all time. And it made me fall in love with the character Lupin the Third. And I mean, you've seen my house, you've seen all my Lupin stuff. I've showed it off here, but like, man, let me do that again. For audio listeners, I'm showing off my stuff. Oh, nope, that's not how I do it. Never mind. Yeah, never mind then. I guess it won't show it off. But man, it's not letting me do it. Never mind. Yeah, I have stuff back here on this shelf from the green screen. But yeah, I have a bunch of Lupin movies. There are a bunch of OVAs and actual movies. There was the newest movie that came out recently, like the CG one. It's very good. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that still go. This is a different Lupin again. The Miyazaki Lupin is a different Lupin than normal Lupin, but it's still an excellent film. Highly recommend everyone go watch it or else.
Yeah, I remember Adult Swim used to show that all the time.
Yeah, they showed part 2 all the time.
Yeah. And so that's pretty cool. And I will get around to watching it. I really do want to watch it because I don't think I've ever sat and watched one of them.
Yeah.
But I will eventually someday.
I mean, yeah, this is on 4K. You know where I live. Go take this one. It's beautiful.
And we'll be leaving the swear words in because my kids watch the Transformer movie.
Okay.
The original.
Yeah.
Hell, damn, and shit are in that movie. And they did it to get that PG-13 rating back then. Those greedy bastards.
Yep.
So I'm probably gonna get some hate for this one. But I do love it. And it's My Hero Academia. But let me break it down. I love superhero movies anyway.
Yeah.
This is like the perfect setup to a superhero movie. You have a kid that wants to have what's called a quirk. And people that get them try to be heroes for the good people. uh, and he doesn't have it, but he has that drive and puts himself in a situation where he could have gotten killed. And one of the top heroes, which is All Might, notices that and decides to train him. And the way that he gives this kid his power is having him swallow a hair from him. Uh, what it sets up is Midori becomes probably one of the strongest students in this class. It's like a school.
Mm-hmm.
By the third movie that just came out, I know by the second movie, he was so strong. He was fighting like high level villains by himself.
I've only seen so far into the show, but then I've also only seen the first movie. So yeah, I haven't seen anything else.
Well, and my other, I think the reason I like it so much is my favorite character is All Might.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he literally is like the stereotypical like all American, like even though he's not American, but like that. Oh, I'm gonna do what's right. I'm gonna be for justice.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out later that he can only hold his form for a certain amount of time, and then he reverts back down to his other self from an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of my favorite episodes is in season one, where the school's being attacked by a ton of villains. Um, and he comes and steps in, and the villains have a villain that has a quirk with regeneration, and he's made to actually take on All Might.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where he goes to, All Might's in trouble. He cannot hold his form much longer, and he talks about how this thing was made to handle him at 100%, so he has to go above, and he's going well over 110%. Uh, I love that, and I love the one of the last episodes. Um, where he uses United States of Smash. I actually prefer watching the Japanese language. Not that I don't like the English version, but I like All Might's voice better in Japanese.
Yeah. Nothing against Chris Sabat or anything, or Sabat, however you say it. He does a good All Might. Um, he just he's kind of like Steve Bloom in a way. He just
Yeah,
kind of has the same voice, and like you can be typecasted and do really well in that voice. Um, and he is a good choice for that. I will say that he is very good. But yeah, how I watched it was subbed as well, and I personally prefer the sub compared to the dub, um, especially for All Might. And well, there's certain jokes that you don't get when you do a dub. Like there are sometimes where it's a thing in Japan, I guess, where people speak English just for random reasons, or like to be cool, I guess. um so there's a part where like he's like shrunken version, and he says like, "Oh my goodness," and he like turns back into like All Might. There's just like little things like that where you do lose that in a dub version. um
I love
yeah.
I love how all of his like finishing moves are like United States.
Well, they're all in English as well. All of his
Yeah,
moves are,
all,
because he trained in America. So
yeah, Detroit Smash. That first movie is cool to watch because it shows him when he's younger
yeah,
at full
where you see
power.
his eyes even.
Yeah, I will tell you, man, when he was at full power, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, I think as the show goes on, you start seeing less of All Might and start seeing Midori, like
Hmm.
his story and like what he's going through. There were episodes later on in the seasons. I'm almost caught up where he, instead of using all 100% power in his upper body and his fists, he puts it through his whole body.
Hmm.
Now he can run at like super fast speed, or he can kick somebody with that power.
Hmm.
And it's crazy to watch him like at the very beginning where he would use All Might's power and it would destroy his body, like his
Yeah.
hand. And like to see him then and see him now, where he's got full control. It's pretty crazy. I think it's like it's not Marvel, it's not DC, but it's along those lines of you know like getting a superpower and learning how to do it and being a good person. And that's why I think I like that
Yeah,
show so.
he's the Japanese Superman from America. Um, yeah, that's just what he is. I will also recommend. I read maybe 12 volumes of the manga. The manga is awesome. I really like the manga. It's because it's essentially a comic book, and on the back of it, sometimes it has like fake comic book ads and things like that. But yeah, the manga is excellent. I don't know what I prefer because they're both very good, which is normally not the case with certain manga where like the art's not great, but the story's in there, so then they make an anime, and the anime is a lot better because of that. Um, yeah, My Hero, excellent, excellent choice. I, I'm not upset.
Oh no,
um, Man, you were right. I don't know. We still have two more choices each.
yeah,
This next one's gonna go by pretty quick for me, I feel, because no one knows what it is, so no one probably cares. This is a show that do not watch with your kids. Do not watch with your kids, Ben. Do not watch
I
with your kids.
feel like this has been everyone you've talked about, except for one.
Um, you could probably watch Conan with your kids. Detective Conan.
So
Yeah, so two of them. Two of them you can watch with your kids. Um, this is a full series, and this series is huge. But my hit thing here for prop is Bakemonogatari. Um, so for the audio listeners, I'm showing off Bakemonogatari. You can see inside Hanakawa's purse because I guess it's green. So the green screen's messing up. But this is a story about one man here named Adaragi, Koyomi Adaragi, and he just has these strange events happen to him before this in the story, I guess. The way that this works, it kind of alludes to this fact, but he is part vampire now because of events that happened. So he has like super strength and stuff, but he can still go out into the day and all this stuff. And there's like this little girl who hangs out like in this abandoned school who was the person who he fought who was a vampire. And now they're kind of like tied together because of plot reasons. But basically it's like a ghost show or like a spiritual show where certain characters have certain things happen to them. The first person he meets is Hitagi Senjogahara, and she is a very stubborn person, I would say. But she has an issue, and she turns out to be possessed by like a crab spirit. So each of these characters, he basically helps out a bunch of girls with their troubles and different spirits that may be possessing them or what have you. Because he has all these powers, so like he has like healing, he has all these other things. This is also made by or animated by Studio Shaft, so it has really good backgrounds, really good things. Um, this is an anime that's only subbed. Um, this is not an anime that you should watch if you're not used to watching subbed anime because you have to read fast. They talk so fast. You're basically reading a book. Because these were novels originally. These are light novels originally. I have maybe like 5 or 6 of them, light novel wise, but they are they can be lewd because it's anime, but they can be very lewd because it's anime. But there isn't really nudity, because yeah, there is a whole. Okay, so in I'm gonna explain it in the first book, which is like a later movies. There's a thing where um, the main character is a teenager. He's like a high school teenager, horny teenager, essentially, and he basically describes um, okay, he accidentally sees like his like crush or whatever, like her underwear. So for a whole page, he describes her underwear, and then the next scene from the girl is like, "It feels like you just described my underwear with like a full page length." Like it's very like on the nose and just very quirky, a lot of one note things. Um, but it's very funny and it has a really good story as well, and everything just kind of moves into each other. But it is a very long series. It's not as long as One Piece, but it's a lot of episodes because there's so many different series.
Right.
It's all on, mostly all of it is on Funimation app now, um, except the 3 movies which tell the beginning book stuff. Those are on Amazon that you can buy digitally. I don't think you can rent them. I think you only can buy them. But yeah, those are there. So if you want to watch those there, you can. Um, the show does jump a bunch in the chronological order. So there is it is hard to keep track of certain things because it's like, oh, now we're in this part of the episode in the series. Now we're back here. Stuff like that, because it was like a book series. It expects you to like remember certain things. But yeah, it's very good. I recommend it again if you are into comedy and you're not a prude. But also um, if you can read fast, because yeah, if you're not used to subtitles, you're just going to be reading just the subtitles. You need to learn how to read an anime, how to watch an anime. If you do watch subtitled things, you need to learn how to read the things really fast, but then also look at all the visuals, because there are a ton of visual gags in this show as well. There's just like signs and stuff like that that say certain things that they shouldn't say to talk about the plot. Um, but yeah, that's Monogatari in a nutshell. Um, it's yeah, it's different. It's a different thing than what you normally expect on this type of thing, but it is excellent. It's
Right.
an excellent show.
I mean, in my last one, not my second to last one, um, it's a long series as well. And I have not finished it, but what I've watched so far, I really like, and that's Fairy Tale. Uh, I think I like it so much because it's got action, but it also has comedy in there, and it's about a guild that is. So there are guilds throughout the lands, and so this one is like by far known as the worst, which is hilarious because in actuality they're actually one of the strongest out there. Um, you know, so I love the show. Um, And I think the best part about it is seeing these people and, like, it starts off with one person that wants to join that guild
Hmm.
and join them and see what's going on, and that's what makes it so good is because like, it's her journey with this guild, and it's also a journey of, like, everybody in this guild as well. And so it's good because of that right there of, like,
Hmm.
hey, we're gonna get to know everybody and watching them stick together, even though 9 times out of 10 when they're all drinking and they're in the area, they're gonna fight each other or they don't like each other.
Yeah.
When it comes to anyone messing with them outside, they're there. And like Natsu's one of my favorite characters because he is born. So his dad's a dragon, like legitimately a dragon, and like one of the most powerful dragons ever.
Hmm.
And there was the scenes where they were fighting this guy who was building this giant tower out of magical rock, and um, the one main girl who is like kind of in charge of both Natsu. It's somebody that she knew from childhood, and she was crying, and he like punched her or whatever, and then Natsu gets up and knocks this guy to the other side of what's going on, and he's eating this rock. Now he can eat things and absorb those powers,
Mm.
but this is pure magic, like straight pure magic. And he the guy's laughing, he goes, it's gonna kill you, right? And all it does is make him even more powerful. And like it's like a big fight, but I love that and how that all kind of goes together with what they do there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long series. Like I first watched it on Netflix. And I know Netflix is a weird thing about how they group what seasons are what.
Yeah, they do.
First season had 60 episodes. Now, when you
Yeah.
go to Hulu, it's broken up. That's like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But still, that's 30 episodes per season. That's ridiculous. And I'm only in like one of 3 of 6 seasons. So, um, but yeah, I know that I found this on accident and I was watching it and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." So
Yeah.
so that is my next one. I don't wanna go too far into it because it's such a long story,
Yeah, for sure.
but,
Yeah, and there are a lot of episodes, and that ended kind of recently, didn't it? Did the anime end or did the manga end?
I'm not sure. We've not gotten new episodes on, like excuse me, on Hulu, and like I
Oh,
said, I'm still trying to catch up.
yeah, maybe they both ended then, because I know it was a big day when that ended. Um, but yeah, I'm looking here, and let's see. I'm looking here really quick, and there are, for my last pick here for Monogatari, there are 100 episodes total plus 3 movies. So that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. And 3 movies tells one season, essentially. Um, all right. So for my last pick here, I need to grab it because I accidentally threw a little too far. My pick is kind of cheating. It is a movie series. This is a Type Moon anime series. So you may know them from Fate Stay Night, Tsukihime, that game that I played once, Melty Blood, that kind of stuff. This is called Kara no Kyokai, or it's also um, localized as The Garden of Sinners. And basically, it is 6 movies within this box here, showing off, and these are the um, these are the import versions. So like they're still subtitled and everything. But there's 6 movies in here, and yeah, 6 movies in OVA, I believe, so 7 movies that just are very interesting. It's action. It's it can be psychological at times, but basically, it's one of those things again that hops in different places depending on how you watch it. So if you watch like the first movie, it just like throws you into some action, and then the second movie is technically the first one chronologically because they wanted to like entice you and like, oh, do you like this? All right, then let's go back to the boring stuff, right? And that's what the second movie is, and then they're basically it's about a story about a girl who goes through like a death like near death experience, and because of this she can now see the death lines essentially, so she now has mystic eyes of death perception, where she can just see lines within everything, and if she cuts those lines with something, then that object or person dies. um so like she like did it to like a table on accident, or like a flower, and she could just see it and there's like traces on the line, and then it dies, it breaks, it does whatever. And so she has to learn how to control that and turn those on, turn it off, as well as she has split personalities and all this other stuff because of the accident. There is a male um, personality within her who is kind of like a murderer type person. There's also her like childhood friend Kokoto, who's with her as well, who kind of just really just wants her to be happy, clearly in love with her, just helps her out with all of her troubles. And then they also end up working after high school with this uh in like kind of like this detective agency. So again, I like detective stuff, but they kind of just work in like this mage, like mystical detective agency, just to try to help with all the weird stuff going around. So like there's like a girl who was like floating, there's this guy who was like eating people, just like straight up eating a bunch of people. um there is like a school that's like a Catholic type school, but like there are these fairies that were being um I want to say they're like being oppressed or something. But like that's one of the different movies. Because all the movies are pretty much like about the story, and then that one's kind of like a spin-off with like the boy's sister. But every movie is excellent. I will say there are some trigger warnings in some of the episodes because there is in one of the movies particular, just kind of want to say it that there is a there is a rape scene in the beginning, but it's not just there to be there. Like it like it is integral to the plots. It's about a woman who gets the power to not feel anything, and she kind of just like goes crazy about that. um and Yeah, there's just a lot of great stuff in here, a lot of more lore about the type Mooniverse, Fate Stay Night type stuff like that. This does take place in that same universe more or less. It takes place more in like the Melty Blood, like that universe, because Shiki Ryogi, um, the main girl, she was a playable character in the previous Melty Blood game, but also um the kid in Tsukihime, which is like the main kid in Melty Blood, he has the eyes as well, but he uses glasses to fog that so he doesn't just always see those everywhere and doesn't like go insane because of it. um but like yeah, there's a lot of borrowing characters, there's a lot of cameos and things and just more explanation of this stuff, but it's excellent. I don't know where you can watch it now. There is a certain thing again with Blu-rays versus streaming. They don't have the rights to Singing in the Rain, the song Singing in the Rain. And there is a particular moment where the the friend Kokoto, he sings Singing in the Rain, but he sings in English but with his Japanese accent. And he uh it seems like it's a needed moment because he's just talking about how um I mean, it's kind of just about that song, I guess, and it's like actually raining and stuff, about trying to look for like the good and stuff. And in the streaming versions, there is nothing. It's just like some generic humming.
Music.
Yeah, like it just like ruins it. So
I bet.
there is a newer release of this, and I have confirmed with stuff online that it does have Singing in the Rain for all the physical releases. It's just the streaming version does not. But you can watch all these movies, I believe, except the special OVA, which is like movie 8, which is in this thing that I showed off, and I think movie 7 might not be on there. Um, that explains more everything. But yeah, it is. I kind of talk about how Lupin is my favorite anime movie of all time. This here is honestly probably my favorite series of all time. Um, Kara no Kyokai, just because of how interesting and how lore driven it is, as well as just being very entertaining. Um, I highly recommend it, even if there are some trigger warning and stuff. If you can't get past that stuff, I totally understand. And there is like gore and stuff too. So this is one of those other ones. Don't watch with the kids. But yeah, it's excellent. This is the one where yeah, I recommend you for sure to watch this if you can. Um, but it's expensive physically. I want to say it's 200 something dollars, but it is 7 movies. So you're buying them all together.
Right, I get that.
So like you're buying it all in the box set. So like it does make sense because like in Japan, I want to say like they came out separately originally and then a movie set. They all came out in theaters as well. Um, but yeah, I'll probably buy it eventually, but we have one here at the house, so it's not mine. That and Monogatari, my last 2 picks were actually the ones that I stole from my roommate, so I could show them off. um, but yeah, what is your last pick? I like depressing anime apparently, but what's yours?
Believe it or not, we were talking about it in like early before we guys started recording. Kanichi.
Oh,
Um,
Kenichi was on there. All
yeah,
right.
I think I like it because here's a kid that wants to be in martial arts.
Yeah.
Uh, and it reminded me of Karate Kid a little bit
Yeah.
of how he was bullied. He tried joining the judo team and got his butt handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I just want to be strong. And there's a new girl, and he's like, comes to find out that her grandfather is a martial arts teacher. And she's like, oh, yeah, you should come check us out. And it's literally the best of the best in different forms of martial arts. Judo, karate, kung fu, kickboxing, um, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great show, and I know right now it's on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't want to go like into too much of it because someone wants to watch it. Uh, it's a long series.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. 2 seasons, 50 episodes. I want to say.
Yeah. But it's just a great show, and it shows like it's got comedy, um, it's got great martial arts. It is very much like him learning it. By the end of season one, you're like, wow, he is like super strong.
And by the
But
end
yeah,
of the show, you're like, is that weird, creepy kid? Is he really an alien? Or why aren't they addressing this? This is really weird. Why does he have this weird tongue and elf ears? Like, I don't understand that. That's one of the gag parts. I'm just like, all right, are we just not gonna address this elephant in the room here that he like has a UFO sometimes? Okay.
I think it's funny, and he has his PDA with like dirt on everybody,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, and it's cool because like he fights all these people of this gang, and
Hmm.
as he beats them, they join with him. By the end of the season, he's fighting like the main guy of this group,
Yeah.
and all the old people that he fought before are there to join and help him.
Yeah, because now they respect him and like his ways of I don't know. Yeah, because he's learning from experts of each martial art, and in turn, that creates a new martial art of just like combination of all of this. Yeah, that is an excellent show. Discotheque, the people who I talked about earlier, who did like Lupin movies and Conan movies, they recently got the license for this again because Funimation
Okay.
had it, but then it expired in 2018. But Discotheque has it now, and they released the first season on Blu-ray recently. So they like made it look nicer because like it's Discotheque where they actually do HD things and they make things look better. They focus a lot on like subtitling and do all of that too. And then I don't know if season 2 is out already, but if not, it should be soon. And so like yeah, that's the way that you can watch it. It's on pretty much every streaming service though as well, I want to say, at least it was. um yeah, you should be able to watch it on Hulu, I think. Probably Retro Crush, that Tubi thing that you talked about to me that one time. I'm pretty sure it's there since it's Discotheque. um Yeah, I'm trying to think of other places that might have it. I know Netflix had it for a time, but I'm not sure about now. Um,
They had it for a while, and then I've been watching on Amazon Prime,
okay.
and they've got both seasons. So uh, it's definitely worth checking out. It does have that Karate Kid feel.
Yeah.
He cries more than Daniel does.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, he
cries a
does.
lot. Cries a lot. And it's funny because like you got all these different masters. Like one of them has like no chill. Appa is like a giant man child. Does kickboxing and always knocks Kenichi to like outside of the atmosphere.
Hmm.
The perverted one. He's my favorite. So,
So, fun fact: the perverted one is voiced by one Vic Mignogna in the dub. So, takes one to know one. He kind of did what's that called? Method acting, right? Um, but oof. But I've never watched it subbed before. I watched it dubbed. I remember really enjoying it as a dubbed show. So yeah, I might give this one another chance. It looks like yeah. As I said before, um, I'm looking on Just Watch. That's a cool website that we're not sponsored by, but I'm going to tell you about it right now. JustWatch.com. If you go there, you should be able to search up any sort of show, and it tells you all the streaming services that it's on. So
right.
currently, it says Kenichi is on Prime Video. It's on the Roku channel. It says it's on Hulu, but it says season 1. I don't know what that means. That could mean the whole thing, and it just is all in one season for some weird reason. Same thing with
Yeah.
Funimation. Apparently, Funimation has the streaming rights still, maybe for a little bit, but not the physical rights. I don't know about that. Tubi, Crunchyroll got it recently because of Discotek. Film Rise, I guess Verve has it because it's Crunchyroll, and then IMDb TV has it as well.
Yeah. And IMDb actually has some pretty good stuff where you can watch a lot of the anime there. So yeah, I think if you get a chance to watch it, um, it's I like it. It is hard to get into right away.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, but once you get into there, it's not bad. It really isn't. So yeah, well that was a long episode.
It was. I'm looking here really quick for the last one that I said. I think I said something wrong. For Kara no Kyokai, Garden of Sinners, that is on Crunchyroll. It is has the weird not singing in the rain thing, but it has even the OVAs that I didn't even talk about, which are just meh. But they're on there. So yeah, if you have Crunchyroll, go ahead and take a look at that. Um, yeah, that was a
That was a beefy
that
episode.
was yeah, that was about what you said.
Yeah,
About
I feel like we knew it was going to, but that's okay. We like to switch it up every now and then. If you have something that you guys want us to like talk about or talk about some of our favorites, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. We post the audio version on all forms of where you get your podcast from every Wednesday morning. YouTube on Fridays.
Mhm.
Check us out at Get At It Gaming on there to help us get to 100 subscribers so we don't have like a weird URL. Um, this week, I'll be streaming again this Thursday on Twitch. Maybe with Alex, maybe not with Alex. We don't know yet. It's been a weird week already, trust me.
It's been a weird
So,
week, and I've been streaming too much Dot Hack, so we'll see if I have the energy to stream something that's not Dot Hack. Dot Hack is so relaxing. So
yeah, I mean, we were playing Streets of Rage 4, so we may be doing that, maybe something different, but we will be streaming every Thursday, regardless, unless something happens. But until then, get at it.
get at it.